Well, as everybody knows, in November 2009, Colonel Idal Hassan shot and killed 13 at Fort Hood. In February 2011, the Senate Homeland Security Committee issued a report on the incident. In December 2011, the House and Senate Homeland Security Committees held a joint hearing on the issue of threat of homegrown terrorism to U.S. military installations. You can get these reports and hearings on the various websites of the committees. NPR reported about a week ago that part of the joint hearing was closed to the public, and during the closed to the public part, the FBI provided the committee, the joint hearing, both committees, with data that they are tracking 100 suspected Islamic extremists who are targeting U.S. military installations. Not necessarily members of the U.S. Armed Forces, but anyone with a badge or clearance that can get on to a base and stage an attack from within the base. Targeting 100 of the 100 cases, they deemed 12 to be very significant, and they also reported that since 9/11, the authorities thwarted 30 attacks against U.S. military facilities here in the U.S. Kifa Jayusi is a co-conspirator along with Jose Padilla. Padilla, you remember, was the dirty bomber. Jayusi, Padilla, and a few others were all convicted of providing material support to terrorists overseas. Jayusi appealed to the Supreme Court, refused to hear the case, which means that his conviction stands. Some of the evidence against Jayusi was 50,000 recorded phone calls between him and the co-conspirators. He was in touch with Sheikh Abdul Rahman, the blonde sheikh from the 1990s, made some calls to him. He published a newsletter on Islam in the 1990s. In 1994, he called Mahmoud Abu Khalima, who was one of the World Trade Center 93 convicts. He called him a good citizen and a Muslim hero. The interesting part about Khifa Jayusi is his employment history. He came from Jordan and on his employment history has worked as assistant superintendent at the Detroit public school system and the chief facilities officer at the Washington, D.C. school board. Head of MI5 recently warned that he foresees a rise in Iranian terrorism. He gave a speech at the house of the mayor of London, open speech. He of course links it to what's taking place with the negotiations and so forth. The EU sanctions that we had spoken about a month or so ago, starting July 1st, the EU sanctions against importing Iranian oil started yesterday. In the last year, the Iranian currency is down by 50%. There's been a 40% drop in the last few months in Iranian oil. Of course, Iran is saying that it's the sanctions that are causing them to be what the West perceives as their big difficult in the negotiations. If not for the sanctions, things would have gone smoothly. And I'll conclude with the MEMRI clip of the week, 3476. It is the newly elected Egyptian president. While he was campaigning, let's not forget he is a member of the Muslim Brotherhood. While he's campaigning, he's giving the Muslim Brotherhood speech at an open campaign, which includes slogans such as Jihad is our path and death for the sake of Allah is our most lofty aspiration.